If you're interested in making things by hand, then the humble butter spreader is a great beginner project. It can be done using found materials with tools that you probably already own. Plus, at the end of it, you've got something that you can use in your kitchen. You should already own a half-decent knife. If you're in the market to buy one though, then the Mora 106 is probably the best, cheapest whittling knife that I know of. If you're looking for more of like an all-round knife, then the Mora Basic, you can pick that up for less than 10 bucks. It'll be great for taking camping, doing odd jobs around the house or the garden. You can't really go wrong with that. Having a saw would also help if you've done DIY projects around the home. You've probably already got a panel saw. If you like gardening, you might have some sort of pruning saw. Even the little saws that you find on multi-tools would work. They're great for cutting wood to length. That's about it for tools. Any straight-grained, non-toxic tree species will work fine. I'd recommend trying to find something that's soft enough that it's going to be easy to carve, but hard enough that you can use it as a utensil. I tend to carve a lot of cherry, but I would recommend as a beginner to start out with something like birch or maybe silver maple. You should try and use common native tree species. So what's available to you might be a bit different to what's available to me. Getting to know what grows locally and what you can make out of it is a great way to feel connected with your local environment. It's empowering to walk past a tree, know what you can make out of it, and understand what it's like under the bark. All woods are going to be easiest to carve when they're freshly cut. The high moisture content keeps the wood fibers soft, plus it reduces the risk of you getting any sort of splinters. You can carve butter spreaders out of wood that's just like 2.5 inches thick, so it's a pretty easy size if you want to go prune it yourself. Don't have access to trees that you can cut branches from? Well, there are lots of ways to find suitable locally sourced materials. You can search for free firewood on sites like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. You can have a wander around your neighborhood and pull stuff out of brush piles that have been set on the curbside for collection. Maybe your local city has a brush dump site that you can go and pull stuff out of. Check what the local laws are, and you might be able to go to a park or wildlife area and collect wood from there. A butter spreader needs to spread butter. Gives you a nice clear goal to work towards, something to achieve. So you need to think about that in the design. The blade needs to be thin enough so you can slice through butter. The handle needs to be comfortable to hold. The blade and the handle need to relate to each other so that cutting and scraping works well. It's a fun little design problem for you to have to think about. Once you've got a piece of wood and it's cut to length, split it in two. Riven wood is much stronger than sawn wood because the fibers are going to run from end to end of that piece. It also makes carving with the grain a lot easier. You can split the wood by battening. For this technique, I'd recommend using a fixed blade. A folding pocket knife might not be up to the task. Whatever knife you use, make sure that what you're striking it with is softer than the blade material. You can use something like a rubber mallet or even another bit of branch wood. Splitting wood like this is a great way to learn how energy from a tool travels through wood. Understanding how to make a split go where you want it to go is important woodworking knowledge. Once you've split the wood out, study the grain, see if there are any imperfections, and then draw out your design. With the design drawn out, you can see where the grain direction is going to be. Look at where the lines of the wood grain exit your drawn on design. Now imagine that they're steps that you can only walk down. That's the direction that the grain will be going once you start carving. With hand tools, you're both powering and guiding the cut. This gives you a lot of information on what's happening as the tool interacts with wood. In the same way that a blind person senses the world through the tip of their cane, you'll get to learn to feel what's happening as the edge of the knife passes through wood fibres. Butter spreaders give us plenty of opportunities to practice a wide variety of knife grips. Some are great for cutting in a straight line and removing lots of material. Other grips are delicate and good for carving tight concave curves. Using the appropriate technique will make your carving more efficient and safer. There are two things that you need to remember that will make sure that each knife grip is safe. The knife will either exit the cut into space, or the knife will be blocked from coming into contact with anything squishy. When you're learning, keep these two principles in mind. So long as your finished butter spreader doesn't have any pithwood in it, you don't really have to worry about the wood cracking as it dries. The wood might move as it dries. Understanding how wood moves is an important skill to learn if you get into woodworking. If your butter spreader twists, bends or cups, it's not really going to have much of an impact on its function. Understanding this movement will help you with projects where it might become a problem though. Now make some toast and apply your favourite spread. Lord it over your family members and housemates who lack the ability to carve their own Nutella spreading utensils. You can amplify their jealousy by stealing all of the metal butter spreaders. Pro tip. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, make me an extra piece of toast while you're at it. Hope to see you again sometime.